So we're 2 days into the knit along. I hope that you're getting on well with it. I hope you're okay with the, I know some people have brought back already. We're 2 days in. Today I'm going to show you how I carry floats and how I knit from a chart. So it's day 2. If you hear any banging around in the background, it's Mrs. Smith. I just wanted to show you, I've just done the rib, but I just dug out the collars from the yarns that I've used, and I was surprised because I thought, oh, I've probably used about a quarter of the yarns. There's 20 yarns altogether, and I've actually used 8 already. So the ones that I've used, and you know, I don't expect or really want anybody to do the same as me. I would like people to, you know, that you can't get it wrong. So if you're using the We County Yarns packs, you can't get it wrong. So it doesn't matter. But what I want people to do is try to be as creative as possible within that. So that you just pick what colour you feel like at the time. So I'm just going to let you know the ones that I've used. So far I've used, and they're not in any order, Fenland, Artichoke, Brandy, Jaffa, Ivanhoe, Elephant, Blush and Spice. So they're the ones that I've used so far. So 2 days in, I've held back a bit actually because can you put that crochet hook in my man bag? Thanks, Joe. I've held back a bit because I needed to film it. So I would have been further ahead with the knitting, but because Northern Hemisphere, it is it's dark here about what, 4 o'clock, and then it's dark till about 8 o'clock or something. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so there's not much of light time, and the time that I have got, as you saw in the earlier video, the light was all over it. So hopefully the light's better. It's mainly lit by artificial light today. So if the light's better, let me know. Say, yay, that's better. So what I've done is I've knitted the rib, and I've got these 3 markers here. And they are your 32 stitches either side of the steek. So they are these 32 stitches here and here. And obviously so I've just marked those, and there's 2 things I want to show you now. You've probably seen it all before, but some people won't. So I'm just going to show you how I carry the floats, because I use a no float method, or I like to call it a no float method. There are floats, they're just 1 stitch long. So I'm going to show you that. And the other thing is that I'm going to show you how I work from a chart, because some people have said, oh, the chart's not numbered. Well, I don't see the benefit in numbering the chart, which is hence why, if there was a benefit to me, I'd definitely have numbered it. But I'll just show you how I work from a chart so you can see how I do it. So as you can see here, I've finished the corrugated rib, and then I've just gone on to the plain knitting. Now, if you look at the chart, there are just 2 rows before we get into the actual pattern. So where I am knitting the background colour all the way across. So the background colour goes all the way across from the rib, and there's no flowers. So there's actually 2 rows of that. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I carry colour, and then I'm going to knit those 2 rows and come back to you. So I carry colour like this. So I'm carrying the orange, and the background colour is the green. So I'm knitting in the background colour, and the foreground colour I'm just carrying along. So I just put the carrying colour between the 2 needles like that. I knit the stitch. I'm not doing anything with that colour, with the orange. I knit the stitch, and then on the next stitch I trap the orange. So I'll do that again. It's a 2-stitch process. I'll put the needle in, put the orange between the 2 needles, knit the stitch, and the next stitch I just trap the orange. And what I'm trying to do is not put any tension on that carrying colour. So that is how I carry yarn. 2-stitch process. So I'm going to do that now for, apart from the rib, I'm going to do that now for the next 2 rows, and then I'll get back to you. So that's it. I've knitted the 2 rows of plain background colour there. So now I'm starting to knit from the chart. So the first bit of flower is this piece here. So I don't need to know what row I'm on. I just need to know, and I don't do a lot of counting, to be honest. You'll see the method that I use. I don't use a lot of counting. So there's 8 stitches there. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 88 plus 4. So there's 92 stitches before I start the flower. So I'm going to go away and get to that 92 stitches, and then I'll get back to you. So I've knitted the 92 stitches. I might as well fill that in. So 92 stitches. I've knitted that. I can fill that row in. Chart. And so I've got 92. Now I've got 6 in the foreground colour and then nothing to the end. So I haven't got to know how many that is. So just 6 in the foreground colour. Four, 5, 6, change to the background colour and knit to the end. Okay, so I'll see you when I come round to there again. So when I start the next row. So when I knit the next row, I will knit along here, and when I get to the foreground colour, I know I've got to increase it by 1. So, and there I've got to increase it by 2. So when I come to the foreground, I'm not going to count anything. I'm just going to add 1 of that, of the foreground colour on that side, and add 2 on that side. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to count stitches. I'm just going to come along here, add 1 on this side and add 2 on that side. Then I need to count stitches because I need to know what this gap is before I put these in. So I will count those. So that is 8. And then I will put those 5 in. And then I'll just knit to the end. So, but then from then on, I will just look at the previous row and see what I need to increase the pattern by. No, that's not the right word. I just look at the previous row and see how what I'm going to knit relates to the previous row. So I don't need to know row numbers or anything. And I don't need to know, the only counting, once I've actually started a blossom, for instance, I pretty much just follow what I've already started to knit. So I hope that makes sense. So I don't actually count everything. I hardly count at all. And the other thing is that if I make a mistake, I never frog back. I might change a stitch. When I'm working a row, I might change a stitch on a previous row as I go past it. But I don't frog back. If I make a mistake, most of the time, because nobody's going to notice, I just let it go because life's too short. So I'll just let it go and work out how to get back onto the path that I should be on. So I'll come back a bit in that when I get to here and show you how I deal with these stitches here. Okay, so I'm just coming up to this flower now, and I've knitted to about here. I've not done any counting at all, so I can just see that with this flower I need to just start one stitch before, coming up to it now, hopefully. So I'm not counting at all. A couple more stitches under there. Where are we? One more. Okay. So it's one more than the row before, and two more on the other side. So one there, knit those, and two more on the far side. One, two. So everything's built on the previous row. So now I know I've got to knit 3 plus 5, 8 in the background colour there, and 5 in the foreground colour. Eight and 5, and that's the only on this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 5 in the foreground colour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I just knit to the end of the row. I don't need to know how many stitches that is, and so there you are. That's it. Now you might notice a couple of things. One, that when I do the colouring in, I just colour in the background colour, because if I coloured in the foreground I wouldn't be able to see what I did on the last row. So I just colour in the background colour like that. I'm being over careful just to show you guys what I do, but normally, yeah, I just quickly put a line through. So on the next row I will count to there and then across to there, but after that I will just base that. This whole flower will be based on what the row before was. So I'm not counting, I'm hardly doing any counting in a row. Another thing that I quickly wanted to show you was where I'm joining colour in. Normally I knit the ends in as I go along, but because I'm steeking, I know that I'm going to be cutting up there and folding it. Once I've crocheted, I'm going to be folding these edges back, and any ends will go in the hem. So I'm doing so I'm not having to bother. Then they don't need to be darned in at the end. They will just all go into the hems, all of those ends. So that's it for now. And I think the next thing that we're going to do is a Q&A. So if you've got any, I'm sure there will be Q&As, because obviously this is a process that I use, that I've developed over years and years of working. If you've got any questions, let us know, and Mrs. Smith's going to collate those, and we're going to do a Q&A, I think is the next video that we're going to put out with this project. Thanks. So next time Mrs. Smith is going to do a chat along where she's going to throw questions at me, and I'll be able to update you, because I am desperate to get on with this now, be able to update you on how I'm getting on.